What's up, everybody? It's Fantasy Brothers back for another episode. We just concluded week 2 of the NFL season, and can't say I'd probably say half my leagues are going good, and two of my big money leagues are in the shitter. So, um, trying to turn it back around because we all know, the first 2 weeks, you win or lose, you don't panic too much, but no one wants to start the season 0-3. So I'm going into these weeks with a must-win attitude. But yep, got my co-host
Yeah.
Spencer.
What's up, guys? I am in the same boat. I'm about half and half in some leagues. I'm 1-1 in a lot, 2-0 in a couple, and I don't think I hit the dreaded 0-2 yet. But it is not time to panic after 2 weeks. But like my co-host Sterling said, you definitely don't want to be one of those teams that is falling to 0-3. So it is a must-win week for the people that are 0-2 right now. With that being
And
said, we're going to talk about the top waiver wire pickups today, and we're going to talk about people you should possibly buy, sell, or trade on, and people who you should not panic on just yet. So,
yep. Well, I mean, it was a crazy roller coaster ride. Very close games in this week 2 of the NFL. Um, One of the biggest observations I had were, I mean, two big name guys that I mean stood out. I mean, of course, Julio and Odell. I mean, they're getting the lion's share of the targets. I think they're gonna. I mean, I honestly think the sky's the limit for both of them. Um, we already know they're great players with can extremely big play potential, but I'm really looking for them to take that step and be consistent because Odell usually takes about 3 or 4 games to get going, and he's already had one of his monster games, had over 180 yards and a touchdown against the Jets. Granted, it was the Jets, and the that defense was just gas towards the end of the game, but I mean, it's definitely a good sign in the good sign in the right direction. A guy, I guess one of the biggest observations that I also saw was the consistency of two young guys, DJ Shark and sorry, DJ Shark and why am I blanking out
John
right now?
Ross.
Oh, you're gonna say John Ross? I was gonna say Terry McLaurin, but John Ross has been a beast too. I mean, isn't he a wide receiver 2 in all of fantasy right now? I mean, who would have
I
called that
mean,
one?
in our reality league, which is half point PPR, he's number one by point 0.3 points over Sammy Watkins. So, I mean, John Ross has hit the ground running. I mean, we thought his first week was an anomaly at 7 receptions, 158 yards, and 2 touches. I mean, he backed it up again. Granted, it did come on kind of a garbage play, like a 66-yard touch, but we don't give a damn if it's a garbage play in fantasy. We just want to see you putting up
We
those
want the
numbers.
points.
Exactly. So I'm not tripping, but we'll get into John Ross a little bit later. You want to know who I
So,
was kind of what?
oh no, go ahead.
You want to know who I'm kind of like scared right now? It's
Who?
it's of Cam Newton, and it's obvious that the guy is not 100%. I don't know what it is right now. If it's his shoulder, some people are saying it's his foot. Some people are saying it's the injury from the preseason. I don't know, man, but I have not liked what I've seen from Cam as far as throwing the deep ball and his accuracy. I don't know if I don't think it will affect Christian McCaffrey that much just because he'll always get those dump offs. He's been running between the tackles well. And I also don't think it will affect DJ Moore or Curtis Samuel that much because the way their offense is set up, they kind of run those short slants or bubble screens or maybe like a 12-yard post or something. And Cam can still make those throws. So as long as he's playing, I think that their fantasy value is still high. I just don't expect a bunch of touchdowns from Cam. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
didn't
me
like that pick.
neither. And one of the things that make Cam is his ability to run the ball, and we can see early in this season that he's not running it at all. He does not want to take those hits, and he's not extending the play like he used to. He's literally sitting back in the pocket and trying to make throws, and we know that that's not Cam's specialty. I mean, it's it's not like he can't do it, but he's not a that's not what makes him great. So yeah, I'm a little worried about Cam as well.
Yeah,
But I think one of the biggest things that we need to do is let's go into waiver wire pickups. I mean, especially for those teams that are 1-1, 0-2. I really think that the waiver wire claims for this week are huge. So I want to start with you want to start with QBs look for. I mean, I feel like Josh Allen, he's maybe available in half the leagues that I'm in. But if Josh Allen is still out there, pick him up now. Same thing with Jameis Winston. I think those two guys are, I mean, could be in the top 10, top 15 category. For the rest of the season. I know James Winston's kind of had a slow start to the season, but from what I've seen, I mean, they are airing it out the last two games. He's not afraid to take chances. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed is they have yet to get OJ Howard and Mike Evans in the offense. If they can get those guys along with Chris Godwin going, I mean that Tampa Bay offense is going to be powerful. So I would go out if Jameis Winston or Josh Allen's out on your board, go pick them up, especially if you need a quarterback.
yeah. My two quarterbacks for waiver pickups. One of them is the Red Rocket himself, Andy Dalton. I mean, kind of similar to what we were discussing earlier, like the John Ross thing. I mean, they do play from behind a lot. Um, you
Andy,
know, as a waiver wire pick,
Andy.
yeah, as a waiver wire pickup, yeah. If you don't have a bona fide QB1, and you're just searching the waivers for a guy that can play that you can plug in for a week or two, why? Well,
We
yeah,
all know.
Andy,
No, no,
he's
no.
put up.
I agree. I agree. He's put up some
Yeah,
great numbers playing from behind the last two games, but we all know Andy. He starts off so well, and then he
he
flops.
does.
But
He does.
but
But I
hopefully,
like his
you
schedule.
can ride the you can ride this wave for a few weeks as you figure out that your QB position. Who are they
Yeah,
playing this
dude, I'm
week?
not. They're playing the Bills. Look. Let me just clarify, because yes, it is Andy. It's Andy, like you're saying. But this is if you're searching the waiver wire for a quarterback, you're not. You don't have a QB1, like, and you're not gonna get a
Yeah,
QB1 off the
y-
waivers. All I'm
you're
saying.
you're
Okay,
probably starting Kirk Cousins.
dude, I'm starting Andy over Kirk. Kirk's been
Yeah,
cheeks. I'm
oh,
starting Andy.
he's
I'm
been
starting
ace.
Andy. I'm starting Andy over Kirk. I'm not. I don't trust Trubisky, even though this is a game where he probably
Fuck
have his
no.
best. Yeah, but I'm not trusting Trubisky. Another guy I would pick up Daniel Jones. I really would. If he's
You like
available, I would
Daniel like
pick.
that?
I like Daniel Jones. I think he's better than Eli Manning. And Eli, I mean, Eli's a shell of himself, man. He is. I think he's better than Eli Manning. And Eli put up 17 points the first game. He put up 12 the second. I think Daniel will put up better numbers than Eli. Those are my quarterbacks for waivers.
Yeah, some honorable mention quarterbacks I like are Mason Rudolph. I think
Yeah,
that he has a chance to really step in. I mean, he has all the weapons. Can he make the throws? That's the biggest question. I like what I saw in the second half of the Steelers Seahawks game. Can he parlay that and eventually have a pretty good season? Because there's no Big Ben's not coming back this year, so it's his job to take and run with it. If he can somehow turn the team around from an 0-2 start and somehow creep into the playoffs, he will be the bona fide starter from here. I mean, literally, they might. I hate to say it, but Big Ben might retire if that happens. So we'll we'll stay
stay
tuned.
tuned.
Uh, also, like what's his name? Gardner Meshu. Is
Gardner
that how you
Minshew.
say it?
Not only is he
Minshew.
swaggy, but he's poised.
Yeah, I really like what I've seen from him. I mean, I think he's a nice plug and play. He, especially based on matchups, I would check it. See who he's playing, and I mean the Jags are going to be airing it out because for some reason that defense is a little more leaky. Well, granted they played Kansas City first game, and then they held Houston to not that many points. So I can't say they're leaky, but I there's going to be opportunities. He's going to sling the ball. Fournette's not just dominating, so I really like him as a plug and play as well. So let's get into running backs. I would probably one the best running back ad in my opinion for going into week 3 is Rasheem Mostert. Am I saying that right? Rasheem Mostert.
It's
I mean the
Raheem, I
guy.
think.
Oh, it's Raheem
Raheem
Mostert. So,
Mostert. Mostert.
so Mostert. Yo, this
Mostert.
guy can whatever, nigga. Shit.
Get the man's name right. You about to
All
add him
right.
on your team. Get the man's name right.
All right. So this guy can flat out do it all. He can run, he can catch, he's dynamic, he can make the first guy miss. I mean, literally, the Niners have 3, potentially 4 backs when Tevin Coleman comes back. But this guy, him and Breida are, in my opinion, the best backs that they have. I'm not a believer in Tevin Coleman just yet, but I do think when Tevin Coleman comes back, he is going to be it's going to be hard to say if he's going to be the lead back because he is coming back from a high ankle sprain. But I mean, you can't expect Rasheem to get 15 touches in a game. But for week 3, he's definitely worth the ad. I really like him. Um, One more guy I really like is Darwin Thompson. Um, for the Kansas City Chiefs. So LaShawn McCoy is dealing with an ankle sprain. He's also 30. He's 31. I mean, granted, he's a good back and he looks pretty good in the Kansas City offense. But I really think Darwin Thompson, if given a chance to get a few carries and you know literally just get on the field, I really think he can make a push for the starting job from um, why am I blanking out on the actual starter? James.
Matt Breida.
No, no, not the starter for Kansas City right now. Um,
Oh, Damian Williams.
yeah, Damian Williams. So Damian Williams, he's also dealing with a hammy coming from camp, and it's kind of lingering in the season. I know he got kind of nicked up in that Oakland game as well. I really think Darwin James, grab him now while you still have a chance. He potentially could be the lead back, probably from week 4, week 5 on. So, and he's a guy that if you can pick him up at the right time, he could potentially win your fantasy league for you. So that's another guy I really like.
I mean, yeah, I like both those guys. It's kind of hard. A lot of running backs are taken right now. It's hard to find those waiver guys. Like in our league, we got a 12-team league with like 11 positions, or I don't know how many it is, and so guys get taken pretty fast. But so Darwin is taken in our league, and Mostert is taken in our league. A couple of
Are you
guys
talking
that
about prime time?
yeah, in prime time. I'm talking. I think a couple of guys that aren't going to pan out right now, but have a possibility to pan out, are Jamal Williams and Ito Smith. Because if something happens to either one of the starters, these guys are in line for 20 plus touches a game easily. Jamal Williams
Yeah.
this past week he had a touch. He had I don't know how many carries, like 9 or 10 carries, about 3 or 4 receptions. And the touch saved his day. But I mean, he's a solid back. If something goes down, something happens to Aaron Jones, I think Jamal Williams is a definite RB2 in PPR. Same with Ito Smith. Ito Smith is damn near in a time. He is in a timeshare with Devonta Freeman. I don't know if that's they're easing Devonta back in, or if it's really that he is just the better back. I'm not sure which one it is. I mean, but the numbers don't lie. They're letting him play just as much as Devonta Freeman. So keep an eye out on both of those situations for the backfields. Um, as far as wide receivers go, that's tough, man. I mean, is like
I
DJ
mean,
Chark
we already,
can't be available
yeah, we already,
immediately, right?
I mean, I would probably say half. I mean, DJ Chark and Terry McLaurin are guys that probably got picked up after week 1. I think a guy that's obviously available in most leagues, especially from the huge day that he had um, on Sunday. Is man, what's it? I'm actually looking up his name right now, but is Demarcus Robinson from the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the guy completely went yard um, against the Oakland Raiders. He had 6 receptions for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. He caught all 6 of his targets as well. Um, I really like Robinson. Can't I mean, is that kind of production sustainable? Hell no. But in a high powered offense like the Chiefs, I mean, if people are going to double and pay a lot of attention to Travis Kelsey and Sammy Watkins, obviously there's going to be a guy that's going to be open or have a lot of one on one coverage, and that guy's Demarcus Robinson. So if Demarcus Robinson is available in your league, he's definitely worth a waiver wire ad. Yeah. Who else do you got?
I mean, I agree with the Demarcus Robinson take. It's just obviously that production is unsustainable, but he did earn some trust with Patty. Tyreek is out. They've been looking for, you know, I guess that wide receiver 3 position to be filled. We thought it might have been McCole Hardman. I mean, I guess who is their wide receiver 2? Is it Sammy? Like technically, it's Tyreek, Sammy. Then who's the wide receiver 3? We're expecting it to be
Is Demarcus? I mean, unless you want to throw
Demarcus now. That's what
Travis
I'm
Kelsey.
saying. I mean,
Yeah,
Kelsey is his own guy, and he's basically a wide receiver 1, but in the wide receiving core, and he's filling that Chris Conley role that they wanted him to fill, and it adds some explosiveness to the offense. But with Tyreek out, and yeah, I like Demarcus for the weeks that Tyreek's out, but when he comes back, just be on the lookout for that. As far as a
I,
receiver that I like, that's tough, man. There's a lot of guys that are on the waivers that aren't really
Devin
just.
Smith.
Oh yeah, Devin Smith with the boys. The boys are my team. I didn't even know that they signed him. I do like Devin Smith. He showed me something this past week. I don't know what his stats were, but he showed me something,
Three
and he's
reception,
not
three
bad
three receptions, 74 yards and a touch, and that was after Gallup went down. I think Gallup went down in the second quarter, something like that. So I mean, literally just came in and made some really nice plays.
for sure. And so yeah, as long as Gallup's out, I think he's out 2 to 4 weeks or something like that. Devin Smith
Yeah,
is a solid filling guy, so that's true.
one of my flyers for a waiver wire ad. I really think this guy has potential. I mean, granted, this guy is on the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins are trash.
He just lost
They,
all credibility.
dude, just listen. But Preston Williams from the Dolphins is, in my opinion, worth a waiver wire ad. I think that out of all their weapons that they currently have, Preston Williams has shown glimmers of hope. I mean, first week against the Baltimore Ravens, he had 3 receptions, 24 yards, and a touchdown. Second week, he had 4 receptions for 63 yards. He's hit double digit points, at least in PPR leagues. He's had 2 double digit weeks. I think he's worth an ad. I'm not going to sit here and say that he this coming week he's going to just go yard on the Cowboys, but I do think they're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be airing it out, and I think he's probably their best offensive weapon, at least from weeks 1 and 2, and he's worth an ad. I really like the guy. He's extremely talented. All of his teammates have said this kid is special. I think Xavier Howard actually was on the record saying this guy's the real deal. So hey, if you have an extra waiver wire spot and you can drop some guy, I think he's definitely worth an ad.
Yeah, well, remains to
Yeah,
be
and
seen.
don't question my credibility, motherfucker.
Hey, remains
I
to be seen. But
remember.
he is on the Dolphins. I just I can't I don't even want that putrid smell of the team on my fantasy squad. I mean,
I
I
mean,
have
garbage
Kenyon
time.
Drake,
Garbage
but
time can be great for fantasy. We all know this. Garbage time is. I mean, granted, the Dolphins are really bad, but Ryan Fitzpatrick and Rosen are going to be airing it out. That's a fact. They're going to be airing it out. Will they be completing a
yeah,
ton of them? Remains to be seen.
I don't know. But they need to get my guy Drake, Kenyon Drake, involved or get him off the damn team. Trade him. Let him go to the Bucks. Let him go somewhere else. Just free Kenyon. I'm glad that he's been able to stay healthy his whole career just because, he's not getting that wear and tear on a crappy team. But dude, he's been in purgatory for running backs for 3 years now. I don't know why. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. You want to get into the tight ends?
Yeah, let's get into tight ends.
I don't
So
really yeah.
I mean, tight end is a tricky position to add on the waivers. A guy that kind of showed me a little something. Well, I was nah. He only had one catch. I can't even say him. I mean, it's very. I mean, if Ben Watson is maybe on your waiver wires, if he's coming back in after this week. No. After 2 weeks from now, he might be worth a waiver wire stash. When it comes to any other tight ends, I'm not a fan of any of them. To be completely honest,
Outside of who you said?
I mean, outside of maybe Benjamin Watson, that could
Yeah.
be because he's been suspended. Everyone else on waivers currently is just I'm not a fan of. I'm just not. It's kind of one of those things where you know if you struck out on you, I mean maybe a Will Disley, Will Disley.
Yeah. We also because I'm not sure what waivers you're looking at right now. But we
I'm
have to
looking
take
at 12. I'm looking at 12 team barbecue and mildew because
okay because yeah, prime time's a little skewed.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's guys like Chris Herndon's that may be flying out there that'll come back in week 4. I don't know if Jason Witten is still available. I'm sure some Cowboy lover picked him up. Um, but yeah, Ben Watson. A lot of the guys that have appeal are suspended for 4 games, and so I don't really. I mean, CJ Uzoma maybe. I mean, he even play last game. No, he wasn't even targeted last game. He had a solid first game. He wasn't even targeted the second game. You can't put up a goose egg like as your tight end. So I don't know, man. That's tough. That's why I was stressing to draft a tight end early, like the Kittles of the world, Kelsey's, just so you wouldn't have to worry about this position. But it's tough, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, we can move on from tight end. Screw them.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
But
Kicker. Yeah. We won't even go on kickers and stuff. Let's get into our next segment. So our next segment is basically buy, sell, trade, and don't panic. So guys that I think you should try and buy on immediately is Mike Evans. Mike Evans has had 2 lackluster games. I feel like you can make a trade for him. Someone that's just been flat out balling. I wouldn't. I mean, who knows how desperate someone that has that. I mean, typically a guy that drafted Mike Evans, I can probably say is he can't be leading the league. I mean, when your second round pick is giving you 5 points, 6 points, it's going to be tough to win. So I would say buy low on Mike Evans. Another guy that I would probably say buy low on is Stephon Diggs.
mm-hmm.
He's been off to a slow start. Uh, granted, he did have a touchdown last game, but the targets just aren't there and the receptions aren't there. Well, shit, he got seven targets last game, but only had his lone reception went for 50 yards and a touch. He just needs to. I don't know what the deal is. Kirk Cousins is just. I mean, I don't know what the deal is. I know first week they were just running
First game
down.
was game script.
Yeah, I mean they were
Second
literally
week,
just.
the Packers, man, their defense is it got a little real.
No, I
Defense
agree.
is
It's
playing
it's
good.
definitely better.
So you know,
Yeah, that could definitely play a part.
yeah,
Who are some guys you would buy on?
I definitely second the Mike Evans buy low. I mean, we know the talent that Mike Evans has. It's just a little tough when you see Chris Godwin getting all the targets, all the touches. But Mike will start getting his. A guy that I would try to buy low on, I don't is Juju, man. I know that he has a shaky quarterback situation at the moment, but to be honest, I like what I saw from Mason Rudolph. I mean, Juju was not getting the ball when Ben was in the game, and then as soon as Mason comes in, he starts teeing off, and he still had a decent game. I think he had like 5 receptions for 80 some odd yards or whatever. But so Juju's a guy that you can buy low on, and you can even sell the other owner on like, I mean, Big Ben's hurt, whatever, So that you got a little leeway with that. I like Juju. Um, Man, I would love to say you could buy low on Devonte Adams, but there's no way. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, he just started. He hasn't had the touches this game, but Devonte is about to start going off for his patented 2 touchdown weeks for multiple weeks. I mean, I doubt you could buy low on him. Um, Definitely Juju, and I second Mike Evans and Stephon Diggs because they will play up to their ADP. They're not even once there's something called midseason form, and receivers really get into that. So look for these guys around week 5, 6, 7, 8 to start just showing you why they should be drafted that high.
yeah.
But
One more guy I would like to buy low on is I know he kind of hurt his ankle a little bit, but is Joe Mixon. I think you know.
well, we were talking about running wide receivers, right? So
Oh, no, we were just talking about just
in
anyone.
general, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So
So
you say Mixon?
yeah, I would love. I mean, buy low on Mixon. I mean, there's been a few guys, just playing out of their minds, like John Ross, Austin Eckler, Sammy Watkins. All these guys are just playing unbelievable, and they're not going to sustain it. It's just not going to happen. I would maybe package a deal and send them off, and I mean, I wouldn't want to get. I can't say I would just get off Austin Eckler or get off, Sammy Watkins for nothing. But if you can get one of these top flight guys that is kind of flying low under the radar, I would definitely do it, because these guys are going to start hitting their stride probably week 4, week 5, and those other guys that were just killing it at the beginning of the season are going to kind of tail off. So let's go into guys to sell. So I already said Austin Eckler and Juju, or not, no, Austin Eckler and John Ross. But who are some other guys that you would probably sell high on?
Man, so to sell high, I mean, of course, John Ross. I would honestly sell high on Eckler. I really would. I I mean, the guy had his games have been ridiculous. He's a number one running back for a reason, but the value that you can get for Eckler right now, especially if you're needing any position. I mean, I doubt that you're kind of hurting if you have Eckler in your lineup. You have the number one running back, but you could probably get someone that like a bona fide wide receiver one and a solid RB2 for Eckler and a bench guy. And if you can get that kind of value for Eckler, I would get off him because I don't know when Melvin Gordon's coming back. Um, I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be week 10, like he said.
Hmm.
And when Melvin Gordon comes back, I mean, not to say Eckler will just be pushed to the curb, but I mean, you're not going to not give Melvin Gordon carries. And with him being added and Eckler's penchant for not being able to do the whole workload for a whole season, I get off him while his value's the highest. That's one guy that I would.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, I mean those guys really kind of. I mean, I don't know if I would sell like Marquise Brown. I really like him, but I actually think he's one of those guys that could hold be very sustainable and hold that production up because there's just not another receiver as good as him on the team. And Lamar Jackson is.
Oh, whatever happened to Miles Boykin? Yeah, yeah, that was your boy. I tried to tell you about Marquise Brown. That boy, the problem.
Yep, you're right. You're right. A guy that another guy I wouldn't say this is a sell high. This is more like a buy and maybe even pick up off waivers. Kind of backtracking a little bit is Rashad Penny. I really think Rashad Penny is maybe 2 or 3 games from getting the starting job potentially because I think either all right, maybe not 2 or 3 games, maybe 3 or 4 games, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Chris Carson is going. I'm telling you right now, Chris Carson either is going down or he's going to get replaced. He fumbled 2 times in a pivotal game in Pittsburgh, and literally Rashad Penny went into his carries. I mean, literally it was a 50-50 split. I mean, he had 10 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. I'm just saying.
He did. Those two fumbles were very costly for Chris Carson's fantasy stock,
I'm just saying.
and
I'm
Penny
just
showed
saying.
out a little
Be
bit.
on the lookout, man. Rashad Penny, his stock is trending up. That's all I'm saying. I don't know when he's going to be the starter, but mark my words, by the end of the season, he will be starting.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm a Chris Carson fan, but those two fumbles that's one thing you cannot do in the NFL if you want to keep your job. You got to hold on to the rock. And if you have two fumbles in one game, especially, you might be right in the pine. So we'll see. You might be right. You
Yeah.
might be right. One guy that I would say not to panic on, this can be the last guy, and we'll go because we'll keep it around 30, 40 minutes, is do not panic on David Montgomery yet. He's a rookie. He's going to take some time. And what did we see from week 1 to week 2?
I
We
mean,
saw progression.
yeah, it was
We
great.
saw we saw him get more comfortable. We saw him, find some good running lanes, score a touch. I wish they would use him more in the pass game. He's only got one reception each game, but they still do have Tariq Cohen, who is a basically James White of the Bears.
Like he
But
got bottled last game. I mean, dude,
yeah, so
David Montgomery had 18 carries last game. I mean, he didn't do a
he
heck of
wasn't
a.
that efficient. He wasn't super efficient with the carries, but
It was a
I mean, Denver has a solid
Yeah,
defense.
it
They have a
was a
solid
stout defense, and playing in Mile High as a rookie. I mean, it's no joke going up there and playing you know at a Mile High. So I really like his schedule coming up too. I mean, Washington. Well, I'd probably say Washington,
Minnesota stuff.
Minnesota's going to be tough, but then you have Oakland, New Orleans, Chargers, Philly, Detroit. I mean, these are all teams that can get gashed on the run. So I like his schedule coming up.
For sure. Well, yeah, I just want to throw that last guy out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got any last words?
Um. Not really. I mean, I keep on saying this, but don't panic on Mixon. Don't panic on Mixon. Oh, and again, don't panic on Mixon. He's gonna get it together. He's going to be your RB1. Just wait on it.
Hey, man, I'm a everybody who has Joe Mixon say a prayer tonight because I would probably be on the verge of panicking if he don't show up if he don't show up if he don't show up week 3. I don't know what to tell you, man. It might be 0-3 for the guys who drafted Mixon because he cost at least a second rounder. But anyways, it's only week 2, guys. Stay strong, and we're gonna start posting more often. So just take our advice and try to help you win your league. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, guys, take care.